Thank you very much for accepting my invitation and accepting to be on my show.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I appreciate it. I'm happy to be here.
So I've gone through a profile. I thought to tell about you and the work that you are doing to my audience. I can't hear you. No.
What about now? Let me try that.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Sorry. So I'm Joe Abraham. I'm a security technical leader for consulting engineers at Cisco, and I also create content on the side for cybersecurity and at Pluralsight.
You're from?
I'm from Las Vegas, Nevada, so I'm in the United States right now.
Great. So you're a cybersecurity professional.
Yes, yeah. So I work in the cybersecurity industry, and I work mostly on the network security side. But yeah, I love the cyber field. There's so many ways you can go with it. But yeah, I've been working cybersecurity for quite some years now.
So can you tell in detail about your job?
Yes, currently I consult for Cisco. So what we do is we go and help other organizations install security products, optimize them, troubleshoot them, and just overall increase their security posture. We help them with designs and specific use cases or business requirements that they're trying to achieve with their products that they buy or their projects that they're doing. So.
So what is your best experience?
Um, right now, I'd say I'm evenly split between networking and security. But yes, security is where my passion's at. So I would say cybersecurity for sure.
So you write content in your website.
Yes, yeah. So I'm a content creator. So I create video courses for Pluralsight. They're a training company, and then I also create some content on the side through my YouTube channel and blog as well.
So you are into Cisco from last 4 years.
5 years now, actually. Yeah. So I hit my 5 year anniversary last year. So I've been there for about 5 years.
Before that,
Before that, I was doing some contracting. I was a network design engineer for a contracting company in Colorado, and then prior to that, I was actually in the Army. So that's where I got my start in the IT field.
what made you to come into cybersecurity?
Um, I would say to start with, I've always loved computers and how things work, right? But previously, I was in the restaurant industry and the logistical industry, and I had the opportunity to transition over into IT and cybersecurity through the Army. So they allowed me to retrain and get on the job experience with the new job. So that's kind of how I got started in it. They needed people for IT. And yeah, I was up for uh, my time to sign a new contract, and I used that to get training in a new job.
So how you are able to manage both creating content and doing your job?
Well, not very well. No, it's a struggle, honestly. It's really tough to work a full-time job and create content at the same time. Um, me, I prioritize my tasks as best as I can, and that helps out a lot. So, I have my dedicated time for my full-time job, and then, around that, I have, an hour here or an hour or two there that I can, do my content creation for as well. So, task prioritization and just making sure that I'm sticking to my scheduling. That's what helps me succeed with that.
So what is cybersecurity in IT?
What was that? Can you repeat the question?
What is cybersecurity and information technology?
Oh, what is it? I'm sorry. Yeah, so cybersecurity is pretty much the entire process of securing our information or securing our data, securing ourselves, our products, our technologies, everything, right? It's just creating a more secure world for, or digital world, I guess you could say, right? Um, so that it's a huge pillar in the IT field. It's only growing. So it not nowadays, cybersecurity and security in general, just they reach into every single domain in the IT field. It's not it has effect on everything. So
So different businesses have different requirements. So how do you understand?
oh, that's a great question. Yeah, different businesses and different organizations all have unique requirements, and sometimes it's tough to translate those. So yeah, you just have to listen to the customers or to who you're interacting with. Just listen to what their problems are and see if you can, translate that to, a technical solution or something like that. It's way easier said than done, though. So it's taken me years to even get used to, doing that, right? But yeah, just listen to the customer, ask questions, about their asks, right? So if somebody says they want to secure, their email, well, what email services are you using? What products, are you using? What are your biggest problems that you face, with your emails? Is it, users clicking on malicious links, or is it, a malicious user might be intercepting your messages or something like that, right? So just ask lots of questions and take lots of notes, especially.
So what is the biggest business that you worked for and the smallest business that you worked for?
um, I've worked with large universities and hospitals before. So those would be 100,000 or two 200,000 endpoints, right? And then the smallest one that I've worked with is maybe a couple hundred endpoints. So
So how you are able to adapt to different business types?
um, well, it's tough because you have to understand the business and what their goals are within their network, right? So um, each organization is different. Like I said, so a university, their requirements are going to be much different than a hospital, right? So it's like that with with any sort of comparison like that, in my opinion, right? So if I'm working a full-time job and doing content on the side, or if I'm handling two different customers from two different domains, it's more about just getting to know what you're trying to do, getting to know the people that you're working with and what their biggest concerns are, or what their uses of the network are. And then, like in my case, for having a full-time job and the content on the side, it's like, what are my goals for my full-time job, and what do I need to do there? And then what are my goals and what are my priorities? What do I want to do with the content creation side? So it's just understanding what you want and what the customers want.
So what is possible with cybersecurity?
Wow, from in a cybersecurity career, you can go anywhere. There's many different avenues and domains within cybersecurity itself. So you can be on the network security side, and or just the security engineering side, and building the tools for analysts and everybody to use. You could be a security analyst where you're in a SOC and detecting and responding to threats. You could be a malware engineer, or reverse engineer, or analyst, and that's where you're breaking down the different pieces of malware and trying to understand how they work and all that kind of stuff, right? There's policy. There's people in cybersecurity policy. There's positions in management, of course, and then the executive levels. Yeah, the field's just huge, and it keeps on growing. There's intelligence too, cyber intelligence. So.
What you don't understand about cybersecurity?
Probably everything that I just named. So no, I would put myself. I'm more in the security engineering field, and I dabble a little bit with the the threat intelligence and analysis and response and stuff like that, threat hunting. Um, but for a lot of those, I would say I only understand, the beginner level of, some of that stuff, right? I still have a long way to go, a lot more detail to really fully understand. And then a lot of the other domains, I know almost nothing about. So, offensive security, like pen testing and stuff like that. Yeah, I'm totally weak there, and I don't understand, that very well. So.
So how do these third-party people will find the loopholes in the management?
Yeah, that's tough. That's a lot on the pen testing in the offensive side, right? And it usually starts with a lot of recon or reconnaissance, and they'll, try to figure out where they can exploit. They'll look for vulnerabilities or, open insecure ports and stuff like that, right? Or maybe they'll use social engineering to have a conversation like we're having, right? And pull little bits of information from you to see if we can log into your account using that or something like that, right? Um, so there's so many different avenues for them to find an attack to be able to execute. Yeah, it's such a broad area.
So there is so much data that is being generated in all the social networks and YouTube channels and in websites. Compared to last 5 years, there is a lot of data in data centers.
Hmm.
So professionals like you are going to help normal people like us to save our entire companies or individual data.
That's the goal. Yes. We work with companies all the time trying to, secure the data at rest or secure the data in transit, right? And almost everything that we do has the goal of increasing the security posture for that organization. So, yeah, and it's becoming more and more important with attacks that are happening all the time, and with, just like you said, the amount of information that we have. It's so important to secure our data.
So what is not safe in internet?
Um, I would say, to start with, anything that doesn't have that little lock screen or the little lock symbol next to your web browser. I wouldn't recommend going there, especially if you don't know the site. But also keep in mind that that lock doesn't always mean that it's safe. There's a lot of different places in the internet that aren't secure, to be honest with you, and um, what I'm happy about is that over the last 2 years, especially with people trusting technology more and having remote work and stuff like that, a lot of people are, or a lot of companies are actually trying to make those experiences more secure. So they're increasing the security on their VPNs and on the collaboration meeting space, right? People like Skype and Zoom and all them, they're securing their meetings a little bit better than they were before, right? So that makes me happy. But there's still a lot of places out there um, that are a little bit more insecure. So two-factor authentication, for example, right? There's a lot of places that still don't have two-factor authentication, set up for logging into places, or good password requirements. So I'd be wary of those places especially.
So as a cybersecurity professional, how you are able to understand the business requirements of the business owners who are not into technology?
That's tough. So typically when I have my conversations, we do have some conversations with the non-technical, people as part of the organization. But usually they'll have a technical counterpart there. So it makes the conversations a little bit easier. They're able to translate a little bit for us. Um, but when we're talking about the people with not a lot of technical experience, understanding the requirements means asking more questions, but translating the information that you're trying to convey into non-technical terms. So back to our email example, right? When I was starting to ask about where they're getting attacked from or where they're worried about, from an email perspective. um, you know, a CEO of an organization might just say, our emails are getting hacked. Can you help us fix it? Well, in that case, I have to say, well, do you have an idea? Do you have any reports of, your, email services, being disrupted or anything like that? Or have you been, breached before? Can you provide any information surrounding that so we can get a better idea? But also besides that, asking them, well, just basic questions. Is it incoming or outgoing email? Is there a specific, thing within an email that you're asking about or that you're worried about? So see if they can kind of meet us in the middle with a conversation.
You explore cyber attacks.
Sometimes, yeah. Sometimes my job it involves analyzing logs or seeing alerts and then helping my customers investigate those as well.
So where these threats are coming from?
All over the place. There's all, yeah. If you have an opportunity to Google, cyber threat intelligence or cyber attacks, there's a lot of different vendors that have them, that have maps that show, attacks going back and forth and stuff like that, or known attacks that have happened to customers or to organizations. And you could just look; they're all over the place. Different countries, different, um, organizations. It's, yeah, everywhere.
So what is your understanding about cybersecurity in cryptocurrency, bitcoins?
That's actually a field that I'm not too knowledgeable at. I've kind of stayed away from the crypto space for since it's started, so I don't have too much experience with that.
So do companies need security for sure?
Oh yeah, oh yeah. Every company that has any sort of, well, any company period should have some sort of security, right? And I think most companies nowadays use technology of some sort, right? So everybody has to be thinking about cybersecurity, at some level, whether it's just having antivirus on your computer, anti-malware, and firewalls, or having a full network suite, um, with a full security stack. Yeah, every company needs to be focused on security. So,
So which softwares or which hardwares are most have been attacked?
um, it it depends. It's a flavor of the week type thing. I hate to put it that way, but some attackers that they'll take advantage of a specific threat, for example, and then some just kind of take what they can get. Um, and so there's some breaches that might have been breached because of a point of sale device or something like that, right? There's some breaches that may have occurred because a contractor left their access open or had a certain access level be breached or something like that. So it just varies. There's not really a straight attack vector for specific fields or organizations.
Do companies feel insecure about their data?
I would say that a lot of the companies that I interact with, they definitely have security on their mind. Um, they do. I would hope that any company that is not worried about their data being secure, I would hope that they have all their ducks in a row and they're ready to go for any sort of security incidents. We'll just put it that way.
So what do you understand about observing all the loopholes that you in your experience?
Yeah, so in the networks, we're always going to have loopholes for specific reasons and stuff like that, right? What I've found is it's best to call them out and make them known, make customers aware of them, and if they insist on if those loopholes are needed or they're insisted to be present, right? Um, Build up whatever security you can around that to help protect the organization as much as possible, but also encourage them to try to get rid of the loopholes as well.
So what is Cisco's contribution to IT?
Well, Cisco's one of the leading IT vendors out there. They started out in hardware, so traditional routers and switches, but now we're everywhere. So we have a big place in organizations' infrastructure, the routers and switches and servers and everything like that. Um, and then we also have a lot of products in the collaboration space. So we have Cisco WebEx and the call manager and stuff like that. We have a lot of security products as well. So Cisco is in the IT field; they're heavily entrenched there, and we just we have a lot of products out there that are present in the IT field.
So communicating with human beings is easy, or putting walls inside the machine is easy?
I would say putting walls inside the mission is easier. For me, communicating with people, it's a struggle.
So what you learned in this 4 plus years of experience?
Gosh, I've learned so much. I would say my technical skills have increased so much. I can't even put a number on it, right? And then besides that, I've learned a lot of soft skills. So I've been forced into the situations where I've had to, have conversations with the people more, and become more intimate with them. I've so from that perspective, I've learned a lot of soft skills. And even though I'm still not comfortable with it, talking, in front of people, it's become a little bit better, right? I've learned, gosh, so many different things in IT, from new security products to different protocols and everything like that. Um, and then I'm also a team leader, as well, so I've learned a lot of leadership skills and, just a lot of things on the business side too. So.
So as a IT professionals, are we able to give 100% security to the data which is there in on this planet?
Um, I would say that there probably is no such thing as 100% secure, but we try our best, right? If we can secure it more, and it makes sense to secure it more, then we definitely encourage that for sure.
So who are doing this? Coming from uh, unknown places,
Can you repeat the question again?
trying to enter into somebody's data without having any permission.
Oh, I gotcha. Were you trying to say where were they coming from?
Yeah.
Everywhere. It's many different countries, many different locations in the U.S., outside of the U.S. Yeah, it just it's random. It comes, maybe not random, but it definitely comes from multiple places. So.
So what is that particular thing that you got shocked when it comes to cybersecurity? Some attack or something?
Um, hmm. My most of my job has been reacting. So, many of my customers were just trying to improve the posture. We're not really responding to specific attacks. Sometimes we'll investigate things here and there. So I haven't really gotten to experience any of the big named ones, right? The most recent one is the Log4j or Log4j, however you want to pronounce it, that vulnerability. Um, but none of my customers were exploited through that, so they didn't have. They only had to patch their systems and make sure everything was good with it. Besides that, though, I've just had some minor ones where, we've noticed on some customers where they're trying to, um, hit a certain host over a certain protocol and their firewall's already blocked it, um, or if we see some weird activity inside the network, and we notice that a computer got infected with malware or malvertising, where however you want to call it, right? The malicious advertisements. So.
So you understand the complete connectivity between the physical and the mental thing called hardware and software.
I understand enough to get by, I'd say. Yeah, dealing with the hardware and understanding the hardware is where I struggle with it from, going down to the kernel level or the actual interacting with the kernel and everything like that. Um, but yeah, from a hardware and software perspective, I do understand, both pieces.
So who's your inspiration in cybersecurity?
Um, wow, that's that's a good one. There's a lot of different people that I look up to both in the cyber field, um, and just IT in general. I would say a lot of the original trainers that I grew up, learning from. So the original CBT Nuggets and INE and Pluralsight type authors and stuff like that. Those are all great. Um, I would say I don't really have one specific person that I look up to, but I interact on InfoSec Twitter all the time, and there's so many great people on there that share a lot of information. So I look up to so many people on there, um, and then yeah, just all of the social communities. I guess I look up to all the people that share information on those, that are active in those and participating in those.
You talk to software developers and hardware creators.
Sometimes, yes. So I'm learning a little bit in the dev space myself. I'm learning Python right now, and Ansible, but yeah, I do get to interact with them a little bit, and have some of the conversations on, what features we'd like in certain products, or talking about a specific bug or a vulnerability and stuff like that.
You tell them what is making things bad.
I don't think I understand the code enough to be able to tell them that. So, from my perspective, I just tell them, which feature we're having a problem with, or from like my point of view, what we see as the issue, and then I try to leave it up to them to tell me what parts of the code it is.
So can a non-technical background person can able to study cybersecurity and get a job?
Oh yeah, oh yes. I fully believe that anybody can get a job in the IT field if you put your mind to it, and you maybe get some mentoring or some guidance or coaching on, a good path to take, right? Um, but I mean, I started out in the restaurant in supply field, and then I'm in cybersecurity now. I've heard of people, and I know people that have zero experience that have gone into cybersecurity, or some that have experience in network engineering or collaboration and come over to cybersecurity. So the paths are there. I think anybody can be a cybersecurity professional.
You want to write a book on cybersecurity?
Oh, that'd be awesome. I think I'd love to. I just don't know. I have trouble with topics, and time, of course, right? But topics, really figuring out what I would want to write about. So
So you are creating content already. So what is it about?
a lot of my content is about specific tools or applications, and then I have some courses just on basic cybersecurity knowledge. So, some of the tools that I present in my courses are pfSense, Firewall, Splunk, the Elk Stack, or the Elastic Stack, for SIMs and stuff like that. Let's see what else is there. Oh, Zeek, that's another popular one that I have. So, but yeah, besides those tools, though, I do have a couple courses out in just general cybersecurity practices.
So what are those qualities in you making you learn more about cybersecurity?
Um, I'm not sure. I feel like I can never stop learning, because the cybersecurity field is so huge, and I'm always trying to figure out how something works, um, or if I'm implementing something or testing out a new feature, why am I doing this? Why am I doing that? So yeah, that's my motivation for always learning is I want to just know and understand it. So
You understand about cybersecurity in space technology?
not very much, but that is a field that definitely interests me. Do you?
Yeah. So, do you think that there is some data in other planet which is completely secured and which we cannot connect and communicate and get the information?
I love that question. You're you're making the nerd in me come out now. Um, I would love to. Okay, so yes. Let me just say yes. I I hope that life exists outside the planet, and I would love the fact that they had their stuff together and had completely secure data.
So we are giving this data and data centers to the next generation with
Mhm.
the help of you people, professionals. So what is going to be after 100 or 200 years uh,
Um,
about
I think
security?
okay, yeah, no. I think that we wouldn't even be able to imagine it. Just because with how our technology's been evolving, in 100 or 200 years, I probably can't even imagine the types of attacks that we would see or the types of networks that we would have. I think the attacks would be really complicated. Yeah, I think everything would just be really complicated for me to understand right now.
So for every positive, there will be negative. That is what you are saying.
I think so, yeah. And then in 100 or 200 years, we'll probably have quantum computing all over the place, right? So yeah, just imagine the possibilities with something like that.
What these big companies are uh, making their products more secure.
Yeah, they're trying to. A lot of the companies are trying to, make the consumer experiences more secure, and their products, at the same time. I think a lot of them are focusing on things like, zero trust, right now, and two-factor authentication, adding in features to just make the experience better and the applications more secure or the business is more secure. um, but zero trust is the main is a big one that I've been hearing a lot lately. So
So at last, what do you say to the cybersecurity people who are beginners, intermediate level, and experts?
I would say keep on trying. I appreciate everything you do. Keep on trying, keep on learning, and just keep on staying hungry for understanding, why things are happening or what's happening, um, and just yeah, keep it up. That's all.
So for a lot of people who are into cybersecurity, who are into training or who are into still in college, their goal is to work in Cisco and be like you, become professional, understand how things work practically. So what do you say to them who are
Um,
watching and listening to our conversation from anywhere on this planet?
mm, I would say, if you're not already labbing, lab as much as you can. Practice, practice, practice. Explore. Um, yeah, explore tools, explore applications, explore attacks if you're on the offensive side or defensive side, right? Um, and just yeah, just explore and learn. Try to find out how a network works. Try to find out how the operating system works, right? If whichever side of the fence you're on there, um, and then try to think of not just one way to secure your information, but multiple ways to do the same thing. That way you have, multiple vectors, or um, the ability to secure it in different ways depending on what tools you're using or something like that. So
So at last, what do you say about my work? Have you seen any videos of mine on YouTube?
yeah, I've actually been watching some of these types of interviews and stuff like that, and I love what you're doing. This is like such a cool idea.
And what do you say about my questioning in this conversation?
I think it was great. Were you doing it on the fly or did you have it all pre-written out?
I didn't got you.
I said, were you doing it all just off the top of your head, or did you have it written out?
No, I'm from IT. I did masters in software engineering. I have graduation in computer science and engineering. So I had conversations with a lot of CEOs,
Hmm.
CTOs, engineers, professionals, experts like you. All that
It's
is
all in the
saved,
head.
stored in this data center.
Nice. There we go. I like it. Do you mind if I ask you a question? Because I didn't get to see on your YouTube channel, what kind of software engineering are you doing currently?
On YouTube channel.
Yeah, are you working on any projects relating to software engineering right now?
I did masters in software engineering. Then I took training in as a AWS cloud solutions architect position and also for
Oh,
cloud
okay.
engineer position. So I'm searching for work and I'm ready to work.
Nice. Okay. So you know AWS too. Awesome.
Yeah, I'm trying to understand other fields like cybersecurity from people like you. Trying to understand other fields in IT.
That's
Just the
awesome.
basic understanding.
Okay. Yeah, no, that's awesome. Keep on doing what you're doing. I love it. Yeah, I have your YouTube channel pulled up right now, and I've been watching them all.
So I'll share your links in the description. People who finds our video on YouTube can see the work that you are doing, and also you put content, cybersecurity content. They can learn
Mhm.
from you.
Yep, sounds good. I appreciate that.
Yeah. Thank you, Joseph. Keep doing, keep inspiring, and keep learning, and make things possible.
Awesome. You too, Sai. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Yeah. Can I put this video on my YouTube channel with your permission?
Yes, please. Yeah.
And also on my podcast, website, internet, social media, everywhere with your permission?
Yes, you do.
Thank you.
Awesome. Have a good one, okay?
Yeah.